My sister stole my gold bracelet and took my place as a ghost bride. Then she had the nerve to flaunt it in my face. Hilarious. If I'd known she was going to steal it, I would have told her it was an engagement gift from a Ouija ghost. I got a package a few days ago. Since I wasn't home, my sister signed for it. I warned her 1,000 times not to touch my stuff, but she just scoffed. Like anyone wants your stupid package. I actually believed she meant it. But when I got home, I found the box ripped open. My sister, Chloe, was sitting on the sofa painting her nails. The second she saw me, she turned away, rolled her eyes and said, "Well, look who's home." Some people are so busy all day. Makes you wonder what kind of special work they do. My eye twitched. I couldn't help but fire back. Whatever I do, it's better than sitting at home mooching off mom. Chloe graduated from college 6 months ago. She hasn't even looked for a job. Meanwhile, I dropped out of school years ago to work and support the family. And my mom still makes me hand over $800 of my paycheck every month. Most of that money goes straight to my mom, who then gives it to the lazy, freeloading Chloe. You could say I'm the one supporting her. The second I said it, her face darkened. None of your business. If you're so great, why don't you get mom to support you? Oh, right, because you're a jinx. If it weren't for you, would our family be this poor? My expression turned cold. I was done arguing. Where's my package? What did you do with it? Chloe's eyes darted away, refusing to meet mine. How should I know? I opened your stupid box, saw it was just some piece of junk, and threw it out. She started to get up and head to her room, but I caught a glimpse of something on her wrist. Her normally bare arm now sported a glittering gold bracelet. Under the fluorescent lights, the skin on her arm looked an unnerving, sickly shade of bluish white. She tried to hide it, but I'd already seen it. I grabbed her by the wrist. My eyes narrowed. Where did you get this bracelet? The force of my question startled Chloe. She ripped her arm away, shoving me back. It's mine. What, you want it? Go earn your own money and buy one. I stared at her, a half smile on my face. Are you sure it's yours? Then where's the item that was in my package? Caught in her lie, Chloe dropped the act and started shouting. So what? I took it. A lowlife like you would just waste it anyway. Where did you even get the money for something so expensive? It's probably a fake. What are you getting so worked up about? So what if I wear it for a few days? Chloe has never treated me like a sister. It's all because a fortune teller said I was a reincarnated curse the day I was born. The year my mom had me, my father died in a factory accident. Then my mom got fired. One disaster after another convinced her it was all my fault. Later, my mom remarried my stepfather. She had Chloe, and things started looking up. Just when we thought the good times were here to stay, my stepfather also died in an accident. The back-to-back tragedies broke my mom. Everyone in our town said she was a black widow. My mom couldn't accept that, so she pushed all the blame onto me, convinced I was the source of all the misfortune. Her bad attitude toward me rubbed off on Chloe. Growing up, all the best food and treats went to my sister. When I got into a good college, my mom said she didn't have the money to send me. When Chloe got into some crappy diploma mill, my mom sold everything we had to pay her tuition. I never really cared about my mom's favoritism. I had my own little secrets to keep. Just then my mom came out of her bedroom. What's all the shouting? Just give the bracelet to your sister. It's not like it's worth a fortune. Everything in this house belongs to her anyway. If it wasn't for Chloe, you wouldn't even be alive. You should learn to be grateful. Give it to her? How many things have I given up for her over the years? And now I'm supposed to be grateful to Chloe? I glanced at my mom, then back at Chloe. You're sure you want this bracelet? No regrets? Normally, I wouldn't care. But the bracelet in that package was no ordinary piece of jewelry. Seeing my mom back her up, Chloe was full of confidence. I want this bracelet. You're giving it to me whether you like it or not. I smiled, a wave of relief washing over me. You said it yourself. I didn't force you. I glanced at the bracelet. The bluish-white tinge had already crept up to her neck. I feigned reluctance. Fine. But you have to take good care of it. That thing's worth a lot of money. I'd hate for it to get damaged. The bracelet was valuable, all right. But it wasn't something you could just take. It was an engagement gift from a ghost. By accepting it, you were accepting his marriage proposal. Chloe had no idea what the bracelet really was. Honestly, she brought this on herself. By day, I work at a funeral home. By night, I moonlight as a reaper. Yes, the kind you're thinking of. I don't know why the underworld picked me, but hey, they said being a reaper is basically a government job. I was born with a weak constitution and have been able to see spirits since I was 8. The folks in the underworld told me I wouldn't live past 30 anyway, so I might as well start my career early. That way, I wouldn't have to pass an exam to get in after I died. I figured it made sense. At least it's a stable job. So now I work nights, ferrying the dead. Lately, there's been this vengeful spirit who's been wandering the mortal realm for decades. He doesn't know how he died, so he can't move on. His restless spirit attached itself to one of his old belongings. Recently, a group of dumb high school kids decided to play with a Ouija board in a haunted house and summoned him. This ghost was bored out of his mind and started sending people engagement gifts in the mail. Everyone who received one either ended up dead or maimed. The underworld gave me an order. Find this spirit and help him cross over. So I tracked down the deceased family and got a hold of one of his personal items, hoping it would give me a clue. And then the package arrived, only to be intercepted by my disaster of a sister. As a reaper, I'm immune to curses. But if a normal person gets their hands on something like this, it's never a good sign. Chloe thought she'd hit the jackpot. She went back to her room, spent forever putting on makeup and a new dress, then announced she was going on a date. She has a boyfriend she met about a month ago. They met at a pool hall. He told her he was a trust fund kid, so Chloe was determined to lock him down. She'd even stopped pretending to look for a job. Now, she was proudly wearing the bracelet, ready to go show it off. I offered a word of caution. I wouldn't wear that on your date if I were you. Seeing me staring at her, Chloe scoffed. What? Trying to ruin my night? No one's ever going to look at an ugly hag like you. Once I land a rich guy and we're living the good life, your little bracelet will have finally done something useful. My mom chimed in from the side, beaming with pride. That's right, Chloe, you go have fun. Our family's future is riding on you. Make sure you win over that rich boy. If you need money, just ask me. She then shot a disdainful look in my direction. Don't be like some people. No education, no looks, only good for manual labor. I shrugged. Fine. I tried to warn them, but this mother-daughter duo wouldn't listen. I watched Chloe walk out the door, the bluish-white aura now completely shrouding her face. A shadowy, human-shaped figure flickered beside her. I let out a long sigh. This was going to be interesting. Most reapers work the night shift. We work in 2 shifts. My daytime colleague heard I'd gotten my hands on the ghost's package and called me in the middle of the night. A ghostly head popped up on my phone screen, grinning mischievously. Damn, Cassie, you're something else. That spirit's been haunting our district for over a decade, and we've never been able to catch him. He's always one step ahead. And you just went and got his stuff. I waved a hand dismissively. I was perched on a rooftop, my soul hook slung over my shoulder, watching Chloe leave our apartment complex. Just another day at the office, I said lazily. You gotta face the tough jobs head on. My Reaper colleague gave me a thumbs up. Face the tough jobs? I see your sister is wearing that cursed thing. What, she stole your stuff again? She'll take anything, won't she? That's going to get her killed. Tell me about it. What can I do? Our parents spoiled her rotten. My colleague sighed, taking a drag from a ghost cigarette. If you didn't need your family's life force to balance out your own shadow energy, I'd say you should have left this toxic house ages ago. He was right. I was born with an excess of shadow energy, which meant I was destined for a short life. I had to live with blood relatives and use their vitality to sustain myself. That's why no matter how horribly my mom and sister treated me, I never got angry. If I didn't have them, I'd be punching my time card in the underworld for real. I spent the night on the roof, reaping 2 minor spirits. When it was time for my shift to end, Chloe was just getting home. I rushed back to my room, wrapped myself in a blanket, and pretended to be asleep. Soon, I heard footsteps approach my bed, followed by heavy breathing. I looked up. It was Chloe. Her skin was so pale it looked unnatural. She raised her hand as if to strangle me, her bright red nails looking like they were dripping blood. When she saw my eyes were open, she quickly pulled her hand back. "What are you doing?" Chloe looked at me, a flicker of panic in her eyes. "Nothing. I was just wondering where the face wash is. I ran out. Didn't I tell you to buy more? Why haven't you gotten it yet?" Her demanding tone grated on my nerves. "Oh, I forgot." She shot me a glare and left the room. I couldn't help but ask, "How was your night? What did you and the rich boy do?" "Nothing weird happened, right?" Chloe turned to stare at me. Her pale face was dominated by her blood-red lips. A strange, knowing smile played on them as she recalled something. Then it twisted into a sneer. "What do you think happens between a man and a woman? Why are you asking? You're an old maid nobody wants. Are you getting desperate?" Before I could answer, she grabbed her clothes and went to take a shower. But the dark energy around her was gone. What happened? Just then, a blood-curdling scream erupted from the bathroom. I immediately ran to the bathroom door, feigning concern. "What's wrong?" This was my chance. I drew my soul hook. The second that ghost appeared, I'd have its neck. But my mom rushed past me, pushing me aside. "Chloe? What happened? Tell mommy." A long while later, Chloe finally emerged from the bathroom. Her face was white as a sheet, wrapped in just a towel. She pointed a trembling finger at the mirror. I just saw it, bleeding." The mirror was bleeding so much blood. And there was a man standing inside it. He reached out of the mirror to grab me. Chloe was clearly terrified, stammering as she tried to get the words out. My face lit up. It had to be the ghost. I pulled Chloe out of the way and studied the mirror. I could feel a faint trace of dark energy, but there was no sign of a spirit. It got away. My mom still didn't believe Chloe saw a ghost. She thought it was just a hallucination from staying up all night. But Chloe shook her head stubbornly. "No, it wasn't a hallucination. I saw it at the hotel last night, too." As Chloe spoke, I looked her over. Half of her face was now a sickly bluish white, a clear sign of impending doom. I noticed her wrist was bare and grabbed her arm. "Where's the bracelet you were wearing last night?" Chloe's face tensed. She yanked her arm back and glared at me, her voice sharp with irritation. "I lost it. It's gone." "What? You gave it to me, so it's mine to do with as I please, right?" I was floored by her twisted logic. "Oh sure. If you want to keep being haunted by a bloody man, then pretend I never said anything." That threat finally got to her. After all, she knew my eyes could see things others couldn't. "Did you do this? There's something wrong with that bracelet, isn't there? Why else would I start seeing things the moment I put it on? Cassie, you did this on purpose to hurt me." My mom shot me a suspicious look. "What's going on? Did you put a curse on your sister? I knew you were up to no good. You were a malicious little brat, cursing people as a child. And now you're doing it to your own sister." I gave my mom a cold look and let out a strange, twisted smile. The curse my mom was talking about happened back in elementary school. I saw a drowned ghost following one of my classmates and warned him to stay away from the river. He just yelled at me. A few days later, the kid drowned in that same river. Somehow, his parents heard about my warning and came to the school, demanding to know if I had cursed their son. From then on, everyone was convinced I was bad luck. My mom bought into it, too, blaming me for her own husband-killing jinx. Hearing her bring up the past, I couldn't help but laugh. "Sorry, but I didn't cast this curse. Your precious daughter was the one who insisted on taking the bracelet. I tried to stop her, remember? You two were the ones who demanded it." At my words, Chloe's face went pale. She looked like she wanted to lunge at me and strangle me. I slapped her across the face. My hand stung from the impact. Chloe's eyes were murderous. "You hit me? I'm your sister. Now you remember you're my sister? Did I force you to wear that bracelet? You're the one who snatched it. Now that you regret it, it's too late." I shook my stinging hand, a smirk playing on my lips. My words seemed to stun her. She stared at me for a moment before asking, "Are you telling the truth? Am I really cursed with something? What is that bracelet?" "It's an engagement gift." "What engagement gift?" Chloe asked, completely bewildered. "An engagement gift from a ghost, of course. When a living person accepts a gift from the dead, They're expected to become their bride. Chloe stared at me in horror. No. That bracelet was yours. It should be after you, not me. If anyone should be the bride, it's you. She screamed hysterically, clinging to my mom. My mom started cursing at me, wishing me the most horrible death imaginable, spewing every vicious word she could think of. Fine, keep it up. Let me know when you've calmed down, and we can talk. I plopped down on the sofa and started scrolling through videos on my phone. About half an hour later, after the two of them had whispered and plotted, my mom finally dragged Chloe over. Go on, give the bracelet back to your sister. Get rid of that cursed thing. Let her deal with it. She's a jinx anyway. I shot my mom a cold glare. Some mother. How could she be so blatantly biased? Chloe hesitated for a moment before saying, I don't have the bracelet. I gave it to my boyfriend. He said it looked fake, so I let him take it to a friend of his to get it appraised. My jaw dropped. I managed to choke out, unbelievable. I turned to her. Give me your boyfriend's address. We have to get that bracelet back. If something happens, I'm not responsible. Chloe stared at me for a moment. Then a strange look crossed her face. You're not just making this up so you can get close to my boyfriend, are you? I see. Cassie, that was your plan all along. I rolled my eyes. Oh my God. Is her brain even fully developed? Are we really from the same mother? I told her to go get it back herself. That ghost wasn't the most powerful spirit, but it had been dead for a long time and was full of resentment. The bracelet was its engagement gift. Accepting it was a promise of marriage. And now, Chloe had gone and given it to someone else. I didn't know if the curse would transfer, but if this kept up, Chloe was definitely going to die. Chloe refused to give me her boyfriend's address. Not until red patches started appearing all over her body, eventually spreading to her face. The dense, red blemishes made her entire face swell up. Her skin started peeling off in clumps. It was a horrifying sight. She was finally scared. My mom had no choice but to force the address out of her. When our cab arrived at her boyfriend's place, we found ourselves in front of a rundown apartment building in a remote area. I snarked. I thought your boyfriend was a rich kid? He lives here? Even in her state, Chloe was defensive. My boyfriend's family got rich from a demolition payout. They have tons of properties. He's just low-key and usually stays here. She frantically knocked on the door. After a moment, we heard a voice from inside. The door opened to reveal a young woman wrapped in a towel. She frowned at Chloe and me. Who are you looking for? I glanced at Chloe. Don't tell me this is his mom. Chloe's face was already a swollen, red mess, but now her eyes looked like they were about to pop out of her head. She shoved the woman aside and stormed into the apartment, finding her boyfriend in the bedroom. She grabbed him by the collar and started shaking him. Who is she? Tell me who that bitch is. The rich kid, blindsided by the attack and not recognizing the bundled up Chloe, was bewildered. Who the hell are you? Get off me, you crazy woman, or I'm calling the cops. It's me, your girlfriend, Chloe. If I hadn't come, I'd never have known what you were doing behind my back. As Chloe thrashed about, she tore off her mask. Her grotesque, terrifying face made the rich kid stumble backward in horror. Chloe? What happened to you? Chloe burst into tears. The other woman was not having it. The three of them started fighting. I scanned the room. It felt grimy and was filled with a thick, dark energy. The ghost had definitely followed Chloe's rich kid boyfriend. Where's the bracelet you gave him yesterday? I hadn't forgotten what we came for. The rich kid glanced at me. What bracelet? I don't know what you're talking about. Hearing this, Chloe became even more frantic. Give me back the bracelet. I'll die if you don't. The rich kid was getting fed up and tried to shove us out the door. In the scuffle, the other woman screamed. A piece of skin tore right off where Chloe had grabbed her. Her shriek was piercing. I looked over and saw she was wearing the bracelet. It turned out that after the rich kid scammed the bracelet off Chloe last night, he'd given it to this woman. Now the bracelet seemed to have a life of its own. It glowed a deep red as it absorbed the blood from her wrist. The woman collapsed in agony, clawing at the air, begging the rich kid to help her. He backed away in terror, refusing to touch her as if she had the plague. It was the same as what happened to Chloe, only worse. I rushed over and quickly pressed several points on the woman's forehead. Her expression went blank. The arm with the bracelet shriveled up, looking like a dead tree branch. I managed to protect the woman's soul, but the bracelet was draining her life force. That arm was a lost cause. I looked up at Chloe and the rich kid. "Get me a kitchen knife." Chloe snapped out of her stupor. "Are you going to kill her?" "Kill her? I'm a reaper, not a murderer." I didn't have time to explain. The rich kid, however, immediately ran to the kitchen and came back with a knife. "What's wrong with her? Is she possessed? It's not going to affect me, is it?" Even at a time like this, all the scumbag cared about was himself. I swear he and Chloe were a match made in heaven. I snatched the knife from his hand and held it in front of the woman. I pricked my finger and let a drop of blood fall onto the blade. A knife is an instrument of death, carrying its own violent energy. Combined with the blood of a reaper, it should be enough to subdue a typical spirit. I raised the knife and brought the flat of the blade down hard on the blood-sucking bracelet. As if sensing the threat, the bracelet erupted in a cloud of black smoke. It slid right off the woman's wrist, and a shadowy male figure emerged from it. The figure darted around the room, as if searching for a new host. I quickly moved to intercept it, and we began to fight. Chloe, who had been hiding off to the side, must have had a sudden thought. She shoved me right into the path of the black shadow. How nice of her. My very own dear sister. I didn't have time to deal with Chloe right now. I drew my soul hook and slashed through the black mist, creating an invisible barrier. I heard a man's agonized scream. A pair of glowing red eyes appeared in the smoke, glaring at me as if angry I'd ruined its fun. The next second, the black mist shot into the rich kid's body. Instantly he transformed. His movements became stiff and jerky. He crashed through the balcony window and jumped out to escape. I was about to go after him when Chloe grabbed my leg, wailing, "Sister, don't go. Don't leave me. I'm scared the ghost will come for me." I kicked her off me. "So now you remember I'm your sister? What about when you tried to get me killed a second ago?" I ignored her and jumped out the window. But in that short time, he was long gone. This was getting complicated. Looked like I needed to call in backup. I pulled out my phone and called my Reaper colleague. "I just fought the ghost. It possessed a human and got away. I don't have jurisdiction in this area, so I can't track it. Can you get the local Reapers to help me hunt it down?" My colleague responded immediately. "Don't worry, I've already contacted the Reaper in charge of that district. This ghost is no joke, its resentment is powerful. Be careful it doesn't come after you for revenge." After sorting things out, I called an ambulance for the woman whose life force had been drained. When I looked around, Chloe was gone. I rolled my eyes in frustration. My colleague quickly messaged me back, saying he'd contacted the local Reaper, but they wouldn't be able to get here for a bit. I waited near the apartment complex for a while until a young man who looked like a high school student walked up to me. He had a backpack slung over his shoulder and wore black-rimmed glasses that gave his handsome, well-behaved face a studious look. I sized him up. "You're the Reaper for this district?" The underworld recruits Reapers from all walks of life. Age is just a number, anyway. Once you become a Reaper, time stops for you. Looks like this colleague of mine was still in high school when he got the job. "Yeah, I got the dispatch from HQ. I'm to provide you with full support." This high school kid was a little cold. He said his name was Leo and pulled out a tablet to start tracking. What was the ghost's name when he was alive? "I don't know." "When did he die?" "I'm not sure about that either." Leo finally looked up from his tablet. "You don't know anything. What am I supposed to search for?" I can make a call and find out." I had to admit, I'd underestimated this ghost. I thought I could take it down easily, so I hadn't done my homework. Now, getting called out by a kid younger than me was a little embarrassing. After a bit of digging, I finally found the ghost's name. His name was Julian. He'd been dead for over 20 years, apparently a suicide. The underworld has rules about this. People who die by suicide often have lingering attachments. Since their natural lifespan wasn't over, their souls can't reincarnate. They become earthbound spirits, haunting the place where they died until their allotted time is up. That is, until those dumb high school kids let him out. Leo quickly found the ghost's current coordinates. Just as I was about to look at the location, he put away his tablet and looked up at me. How do you usually handle disobedient spirits? I don't know why, but looking at Leo, I felt the same anxiety as when I'm facing my boss. I usually just beat them until they cooperate and come back to the underworld with me. No wonder you have so many complaints against you. You're at the bottom of the performance rankings every time, dragging down our entire region's average. Huh. How did he know that? Forget it. I'll take the lead on capturing this ghost. You just assist me. Leo sighed, and the way he looked at me was just odd. Leo didn't immediately go after the ghost. According to him, the ghost was seriously injured by my attack and wouldn't dare cause trouble for a while. To properly subdue it, we first needed to understand what it wanted, like why he killed himself and why after death he was so obsessed with sending out engagement gifts and finding a ghost bride. The old downtown district was where he first died. His family had moved away long ago. We found an old woman who had lived there for many years to ask for information. The old woman was hard of hearing and her eyesight wasn't great. When she saw us, she sighed. Are you here to take me to the underworld? I knew it. My time is up. Fine, I'll go with you. People who are close to death can often see reapers. I gently calmed the old woman down and explained why we were there. After a moment of thought, she finally said, Him. Oh, I remember him. Agu, that was such a long time ago. We were neighbors. That boy Julian, he was so handsome back then. All the girls at the textile factory had a crush on him. But he only had eyes for a girl from his village. They were together for a long time. He'd even given her family an engagement gift. They were all set to be married. But something happened, and the wedding was called off. Rumor was the girl got involved with the factory manager's son and started looking down on poor Julian. When Julian went to her house with the gift, her family beat him and threw him out. They humiliated him for being poor. After that, Julian was never the same. He locked himself in his room, wouldn't eat or drink. His parents were heartbroken. They sold their house to try and put together a bigger dowry. But on their way to the girl's house, the road was dark and slippery, and the old couple fell into the river and drowned. When Julian heard the news, it wasn't long before he hanged himself in his room. They say when he died, he was still clutching a gold bracelet, the one he meant to give the girl. So the ghost died for love. No wonder he was so fixated on finding a bride after death. That must have been his lingering obsession. After hearing the story, Leo thought for a moment, then suddenly asked, Do you know the girl's name? The old woman shook her head. It's been too long. I can't remember. I think her last name was Lee, or something like that. Did she end up marrying the factory manager's son? Of course not. He was just playing with her. He never took her seriously. I heard she later got pregnant and married some factory worker, but he died not long after, and she became a widow. I say it was karma. Hearing that, the story started to sound a little too familiar. My mom was also a widow, but she never saw it as her karma. It was always the tragedy I brought upon the family. We left the old downtown area. I asked Leo when we were going to catch the ghost. Now that we know what he wants, shouldn't we arrange a meeting between him and the woman who abandoned him? That should resolve his resentment. Can you find the woman who abandoned him? I have a theory, I said, but I need to confirm it. Just then my mom called. She asked when I was coming home. What's up? You usually don't care if I'm not home. My mom was quiet for a moment before saying through gritted teeth, Your sister's back. She's acting crazy. What happened when you two went out this afternoon? There's so much going on lately. Don't be out running around. You two are the only daughters I have. I couldn't bear it if something happened to either of you. I pursed my lips. That was weird. She never talked to me in that tone. In her eyes, I was just a debt she had to pay. Coincidentally, I needed to go back and find Chloe anyway. The ghost had surely left a trace of its resentment on her. Now that it had escaped, it might go back for her. Leo looked at me. I forgot to tell you. The ghost's last known location was your apartment. Thanks for telling me now, I said. Leo shrugged. Your mom's in such a hurry for you to come home. It seems like it got there before we did. My face darkened. Of course I knew there was something wrong with my mom's sudden change of tone. I opened my book of life and death. Right now, Chloe's and my mom's names were glowing red. A red name means a person is facing a great trial. If they survive, they'll be fine. If not, they'll become a new soul for me to reap. I didn't have time to explain. I immediately requested special clearance and started forming a hand seal. By heaven and earth, fold the path, go. Step folding lets you reach your destination in under 5 minutes. It's an ability usually reserved for reaping souls, but in an emergency, I couldn't worry about the rules. I reached for Leo, but he wrapped an arm around my waist instead. You've been a reaper for how long and you're still using such basic techniques? What the hell? I was literally folding space-time. How was that basic? The next second, Leo raised his hand. I blinked, and we were standing right in front of my apartment door. Holy crap. This guy was a pro. Leo was definitely a big shot. How else could he teleport? I thought only the Lord of the Underworld could use that spell. The moment I touched the door, Leo grabbed my hand. He glanced at the doorframe and pulled a paper talisman from behind the New Year's couplets pasted there. He handed it to me. My face fell. This is a warding talisman. Did a Taoist priest get involved? Is this meant to block us reapers? A warding talisman is a type of Taoist charm used to repel spirits. It has some effect on us reapers too. Basically, reapers are neither human nor ghost. We walk between worlds, so we inevitably carry a lot of shadow energy. Leo's expression was calm. You tell me. You can't even get into your own home now. Step back. I pulled out my soul hook and pried open the security door. The moment we stepped inside, we were plunged into darkness. In the center of the living room, 2 white candles were burning in front of a black and white photograph. I walked closer and my blood boiled. The photo was of me. I wasn't even dead yet, and they were already cursing me to die? What the hell were my mom and Chloe doing? I called out their names. A shuffling sound finally came from the darkness. My mom emerged from the bedroom, holding a candle. Her wrinkled face was cloaked in a heavy, dark energy. You're back so soon. I looked at her suspiciously, pointing my soul hook at her. Where's Chloe? Why did you put out a picture of me? Do you want me dead that badly? My mom glanced up at me and let out a low, sinister laugh. Without a word, she turned and carried the candle back into the bedroom. I exchanged a look with Leo. The ghost was in this apartment. He immediately formed a hand seal, and a shimmering barrier enveloped the entire room. I hurried after my mom into the bedroom. The second I entered, I saw Chloe sitting on the bed. She was dressed in a blood-red wedding gown, her face painted a ghostly white, with only her lips a stark, bright red. She sat there with a vacant stare, as if her consciousness was completely gone. I looked closer and realized Chloe's soul was no longer in her body. What could have happened in such a short time? My mom calmly set down the candle and stood in the corner. The candle's flame cast her shadow on the wall, a grotesque, writhing thing that twisted into the shape of a man. She took a wet cloth and began to wipe Chloe's hands. After that, she pulled the bracelet from her pocket and looked at me with a strange smile. You said this bracelet was an engagement gift, didn't you? Does that mean whoever wears it has to marry that ghost? Then she started walking toward me, holding the bracelet. Come on, Cassie. Be a good girl and put on the bracelet. You're mommy's good daughter. I asked around. If we willingly offer him a soul, the ghost will let your sister go. I know you've always been jealous of how much I love your sister. If you're willing to take her place and marry that dead man, I'll love you just as much from now on. I stared at her coldly. Are you insane? Why would I listen to you? You think I need your love? I didn't have it when I was a kid, and I certainly don't want it now. What good is the love of a selfish, manipulative mother? My words seemed to trigger her. She started screaming at me hysterically. Are you blaming me? Isn't it your fault your sister is like this? You've been bad luck since the day you were born. You killed your own father and ruined our family. Don't you think you should atone for your sins? I looked at her, a half smile on my face. She didn't seem to notice the black shadow behind her had now completely enveloped her. She lunged at me, clutching 2 talismans in her hands. You'll do as I say, whether you like it or not. You're just like your deadbeat father. You should have died long ago. I never should have had you. I tried to get rid of you, but you still managed to be born. You're just a born monster. As she tried to slap the talismans on me, Leo, who was standing beside me, moved to stop her. But I held him back. Instead, I looked at my mom and smiled. So that's it. I always wondered why you hated me so much. Could it be that you were the one who betrayed someone, who broke a heart? And every time you look at me, you see the person you abandoned? Is that why you despise me so much? At my words, her vicious expression turned to one of pure terror. You're lying. You're the one who brought this curse on us. You're the one who hurt your sister. It's all your fault. She reached out and tried to choke me. I stood my ground. The moment the two talismans touched my body, they sizzled and burned. I gritted my teeth against the pain, grabbed her hand and squeezed. You know what you did? Is this really a curse I brought? Or is it the consequence of your own actions? My mom shook her head frantically, her hands tightening around my neck. If I kill you, if you just die, your sister and I will be fine. I sighed. Before I could make a move, the black shadow behind her suddenly sprouted a pair of pale, ghostly hands. The hands wrapped around my mom's arms, pulling her into an embrace from behind. My love, I've waited for you for 20 years. I've finally found you. The man's voice made my mom's entire body tremble. She instantly let go of me. She spun around, frantically searching for the source of the voice. The black shadow slowly took shape in the candlelight, revealing a thin, young man. His eyes were blood red as he stared at my mom, a smile on his lips. I've been waiting for you. I did what you asked. You said if I was willing to die for you to prove my love, you would marry me. But I waited and waited for so long, and you never came. Julian. My mom shrieked in terror. It's you. Get away from me. Don't you dare come near me. You chose to die. It had nothing to do with me. We were never going to happen. You were the one who wouldn't let go. Your death has nothing to do with me. The man who appeared was the ghost we'd been looking for, Julian. I was right. The woman who had abandoned him all those years ago was indeed my mother. I took 2 steps back, giving the human and the ghost their space. Leo steadied me with a hand on my arm. Should I reap him now? I clutched my arm, which was still burning from the talismans, and answered coolly. Let them catch up. If his wish isn't fulfilled, he'll remain a vengeful spirit, forever trapped and unable to find peace. Leo's gaze on me was dark and intense. So you knew all along. This ghost, he's your biological father? I didn't at first. After I became a reaper, I found out I wasn't the child of my mom's first husband. But I didn't care who it was. My parents had always seen me as bad luck. What difference would it make to know who my real father was? It wasn't until I heard the old woman's story in the old downtown district that I started to suspect. I just never imagined the heartless girl in the story was my own mother. The ghost finding us wasn't a coincidence at all. What goes around comes around. Some debts just have to be paid. Especially when my biological father was such a lovesick fool. Seeing Julian's spirit, my mom completely lost it. Julian just watched her with sad eyes. My mom grabbed anything she could find and threw it at him, until her eyes landed on the bracelet. That's it. This is how you found me, isn't it? I'll destroy it right now, and then you can't haunt me anymore. She tried to throw the bracelet out the window. But before she could, Julian's spirit stopped her. He held the bracelet, his expression filled with sorrow. My love, have you forgotten? This was my engagement gift to you. I just never got the chance to give it to you. Now I can finally put it on your hand myself. My mom froze, stunned. She stood motionless as Julian slid the bracelet firmly onto her wrist. Then she seemed to snap, collapsing to the ground and begging him to spare her. When Julian didn't answer, she turned and started begging me. But once that bracelet is on, it starts draining your life force. Terrified of ending up like Chloe, she hysterically knocked over the candle, screaming that she'd take him down with her. The candle fell to the floor, and the flames quickly caught on the curtains. My mom screamed and ran frantically around the room, eventually stumbling and falling out the window. Julian's spirit pursued her relentlessly, enveloping her body as they fell together. I lunged forward to grab my mom, but Leo caught my arm. Reapers cannot interfere in human destiny. Your mother's life ends tonight. It was all fated. She was supposed to die years ago but borrowed your luck to survive. Now that she's gone, the curse on you will be broken. I watched her fall. On the pages of the Book of Life and Death, My mother's name faded and reappeared in the state of a spirit. All I could do was close my eyes. 20 years of a mother-daughter bond, over just like that. Leo raised his hand, and a wisp of black smoke floated in from the window, landing in his palm. I glanced at it. It was Julian's soul. With my mother's death, his obsession was gone. But he had taken multiple lives. Even in the underworld, he would be sent to the deepest hell to be punished for his crimes. Leo patted my shoulder and told me to take my time to grieve. My mother's death was ruled an accidental fall. Leo helped me guide her soul. After she died and saw me in my Reaper form, she clung to my hand, begging me to bring her back to life. I saw she was beyond reason. I don't have that kind of power. Maybe you'll have a better daughter in your next life. I watched as Leo sent her soul and Julian's to the underworld. Chloe didn't die, but the terror had frightened one of her souls away, leaving her mentally unstable, what you'd call insane. I had no choice but to have her committed to a psychiatric hospital. As for the rich kid Julian had possessed, he was later found dead from cardiac arrest near our apartment complex. I was the one who reaped his soul. After it was all over, my Reaper colleague sighed. Now that almost your whole family is gone, what are you going to do for life force? I shook my head. It was because my mom borrowed my luck that I was plagued by shadow energy. Now that she's gone, the energy is starting to fade. I just wonder, once it's completely gone, will I still be able to be a Reaper? Does that mean I won't be able to see you anymore? Hey, that's a good thing. At least you can live out a full, normal life. For us Reapers, unless we find a successor, we're stuck in this job forever, even after our mortal bodies die. I turned down my colleague's invitation to go for a drink. I threw on my Reaper's cloak, slung my soul hook over my shoulder, and went out on patrol. As it happened, I saw Leo standing in front of a flower shop. He still looked like a high school kid, holding his tablet. I followed his gaze and saw a young couple inside the shop, happily buying flowers. Floating above their heads were their names and causes of death, indicating they were about to become spirits in the next 10 minutes. They were so young. I walked over and said hello to Leo. He glanced at me sideways. Have you met your quota for the month? What's with this guy? Why does he always give me the feeling he's my boss? I was taken aback, and after a moment, I gave a sheepish smile. If I don't, will I get fired? Yes. And a pay cut. His expression was deadpan. I thought for a moment, then shamelessly sidled up to him. So, could you maybe pull some strings? I really need this job. He shot me a look, a faint smile touching his lips. Are you trying to bribe me? Do you know who I am? I blinked, looking at him. The Lord of the Underworld, my ultimate boss. So, what kind of bribes do you accept? He gave me a surprised look. That depends on your performance. He then walked straight into the convenience store next door and asked the couple who were about to die if he could borrow $20. The couple was stunned. After a moment, the girl nudged the boy and pulled a 20 out of her wallet. This is all the cash I have. Do you need help? Leo didn't say anything, just gave the couple a small smile. No, I just wanted to buy my girlfriend some flowers, but I'm a little short. He looked around the shop but couldn't seem to find the right ones. The couple, being kind-hearted, started giving him suggestions. In the end, Leo bought 2 roses and casually handed them to me. At that exact moment, a multi-car pileup happened at the intersection outside the flower shop. But miraculously, no one died. I held the roses, looking at Leo in astonishment. Reapers can't interfere with human destiny. You're breaking the law. Leo looked at me steadily. Oh, then you can report me to the Lord of the Underworld. I looked at him, speechless. The Underworld is lucky to have a lord like you. Thank you for the compliment. We looked at each other and smiled. The end.